good. Okay. Welcome back to another episode of The Verdict. We have exchanged the We Buy Cars warehouse for the Freddie Hirsch warehouse with some green and gold background. I'm wearing my green to celebrate another fantastic performance from the Boks. We can be so proud of our team and we are very joyous because of that victory. But I'm sad as well because I will be sad until the day that every single South African supports the Springboks. And you might think differently, but that's just the way I am because the Boks have given us so much. Cape Town, rather, really also showed off yesterday. I think the pre-show performance, for those that went to DHL Stadium, unbelievable. It was beautiful. Another success story for a South African company because Fly Saf Air, the most on-time airline in Africa, on time, not late like last week, no disruptions with the timing. The respect shown for the haka because we appreciate and we respect the New Zealanders and the All Blacks. All in all, a culmination of a fantastic day of rugby, a celebration. What was the highlight for you, Shimmy?
I think Sia's speech at the end of the game. I managed to do the interview and the way he just manages to capture the... You just say Sia and the crowd goes wild. You're like, okay, my job's done, you know? So that was pretty good there. But the guys, you know, the Freedom Cup is not really spoken about. And I didn't realize till this week, to be honest with you, that we hadn't won it since 2005. 2009. Yeah, 2009. So it meant a lot to the team. And it's nice, you know, and long may it continue. But also having the All Blacks in South Africa, I think, for me, this almost looked like the Lion series or even Ireland here, the All Blacks coming here, that after winning a World Cup, having them come here, the 4 tests we've had here in South Africa have been fantastic. And to finish it off like a day like that in Cape Town, I mean, it's raining today. The weather was rubbish for the last 3 weeks. I think the rugby gods just gave us a week of pure good weather the whole week. The build-up up until that game was fantastic. It can rain for another month now, I don't care.
You don't care?
I do.
I think we all do. I can do with a bit of summer now. Scala, just the whole day, just everything that...
Yeah, everything was exceptional. The rugby topped it off. Yes, it wasn't perfect, but the Boks again found a way. Seeing the Freedom Cup in person in the Springbok hands for the first time in 15 years was quite lekker. It was filled with some weird gold liquid, which I can't remember the name of now. Last time we won that in Hamilton. I mean, we're so privileged to watch these 2 games in South Africa. So on top of that, you know, the first time since 1992 where we've won more than 3 in a row. 2009, we managed to do it. 4 in a row, you know, from 1937 to 1950 or whatever, there was a 6-run unbeaten streak against the All Blacks. So all credit to Rassie and his team. Again, it wasn't perfect, but weirdly enough for the All Blacks, 2nd week in a row, same mistakes in the last quarter haunted them.
Yeah. You mentioned Rassie because, guys, we must celebrate this Springbok group.
Yeah.
What they have achieved and what they keep on doing and achieving and performing and the commitment on the field. It is, I don't even think arguably anymore, this is the greatest generation of Springbok rugby. If we look at the depth, if we look at the performances now capping it off with the Freedom Cup as well. And, you know, I can't really see them not winning the rugby championship either.
Yeah, look, it's a golden period and we've got to enjoy it, Sean. I mean, since 2019, double World Cup, I think just the schedule has just been teed up perfectly. You win a World Cup, Ireland come here, All Blacks here. We managed to, you know, to double up in Australia. Yeah. And what they've achieved is fantastic. And also, I mean, we know a lot of the players personally. They're good guys. They're all very nice, good men, humble guys. And where you see it, you know, obviously, you go on tour a lot though, is you listen to the hotel staff and the people that work and whether it's an airport, whatever. And they're very complimentary about the team. They say, gee, your guys are so well-mannered. They're so friendly. They're good. And that's away from the cameras. That's away from the field. And me, that's the most important thing. The reality is that these guys have just grown and gotten bigger and bigger, but they still remain humble. At the core of it all, you look at how the team is selected, how they all help each other. A young guy comes in, Pollard helps him, Apelele Fassi comes in, Villiers helps him. So it's a correct environment for it. And the growth and momentum. I think you've got a management team that's willing to innovate, to look ahead, Scala. Couple of years ahead, and that's what they're doing, and they're getting results at the same time.
Because the success is not necessarily just looking at the on-field performances, but hearing stuff like that from off the field is spectacular as well. What I wanted to say, because you mentioned the staff, so I'm standing next to the field, they're busy warming up, and Rassie comes walking out onto the field, and he comes quickly, and he just says hi, he says, "I'm cucking myself." Before the game, so sorry for the language, but that's
it shows how much it
means.
And also, you sit there as a coach and you go like, "Listen, my 2 star players from the previous game, they're not in the starting lineup. Apelele Fassi, Sasha is not. Obviously, Peter Steff was on a different planet the week before, but you make 2 big changes, and you do those changes. He plans out before, so he sits with the sober head. So listen, Sasha had a big week in Johannesburg. Can he recapture it? He's been involved. He's only 22, whatever he is. He's been involved in every single test match. A drop-off's coming. He tries to preempt it. Picks Andre Pollard, picks Willie Leroux at fullback. And then the game comes and you're wondering whether you've done the right thing or not.
Guys, we've got so much to talk about from this game. Ebb and flow, mistakes both ways. Even speaking to Scott Robertson afterwards, he was massively disappointed. He knows that they could have won both games. The scoreline for both these games could have been vastly different and result vastly different. It could have been 10 points either way. It could have been, closer. It could have. There was just so much to eventually get the results that we got. So we've got a hell of a lot of clips. I'm gonna start it off. There was a bit of a focus last week in our show for the refereeing. And we start off this game with exactly that. You wanted a good start, but then the very first call, quite an interesting one. Just look at when he actually calls. Use that. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4 seconds.
Yeah, Jean, if I've got no issue, he's going to do that, but be consistent with it.
Yep.
If you're brave enough to make that call early on, there was times with quarters, Ratima also. I was like, okay, he's taking long.
Yeah.
He's going to get called here, and it didn't happen. So it's the same thing with the put in the scrum, Scala. Yeah. If you're going to call the first one and say it's skew, then call all of them skew.
Yeah.
So you just got to be consistent with calls like that.
That was exactly my point when he did it. I was surprised that it happened so quickly. And also when you do that, where do you build an innings from? Often it's like playing a penalty for the first scrum that sort of goes down. Often you see a reset.
Yeah.
Then you build your innings going, no more resets.
True.
You can't start like that and then every ruck's got to follow a 4 second.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's 5 seconds.
Is it preempting it? Is it preempting it and wanting to say, okay, I want to make a statement early on in this game because I don't want that, and then kind of that's the
result. I think it's heat from coaches.
Yeah.
And coaches would say, listen here, let's get out in the skin of the box. How can we interrupt the exit rucks? The All Blacks again kicked a fair bit. We had a lot of lineouts. Our lineout malfunctioned, pretty much the biggest one I've seen in a long, long time. But then if Scott Robertson, Razor and them, you go, listen here, they've got to stick to the 5 seconds. They can't set it up longer. So you plant that little seed with referee Carly. That was not right. Yeah. And also for us, we've been talking about starting big. And that's the first action of the game.
Yeah. Because I thought the start would be, that would be critical for this game. And the box started with, and we're just focusing on the mistakes and errors that they made now. The Boks didn't start particularly well in terms of the execution. The intensity was there, but they didn't get any return. And just a couple of examples of that. Again, Villiers, so experienced. It's just sloppy, isn't it?
Yeah, there you almost like Villiers. I mean, he has Mr. Assist there.
Yeah.
They sometimes you just got to take the contact, take the hit, win the druck, and look to build from there and kick it downfield. So, look, I understand. What I enjoyed about this game was the mindset of both teams. Yeah. The ability to try and get the ball into the space. Let's have a go. And that's what it opened up. But also there's a lot of errors from both teams.
Like
and I'm going to play through these errors.
You'll see in those clips is where we make the errors. And it's silly little handling errors. Villiers' option there was the wrong one. Here we go. Not looking after the ball. It's two hands, roll, stay alive on the floor. Bit more intensity of the carry from Eben would be appreciated there. But you'll see a recurring theme. Whether it is turnover, it all happens in our own half. And that's what we did last week. That's, again, why to chase the All Blacks down in the second half this week. And we'll get to the fact or the reason why we get a hold of them later on. Good contest ball.
Good
you
kick.
think we've can't hold on to the ball.
Yeah.
And it's deep in our own half. You know, Villiers' decision, the first one to float that pass, it's not even on. You know, so we want to have ambition. And there was times late in the game where I thought we had opportunities to go and we didn't go. So it's about Tony Brown lamenting the fact, what is your triggers? When is the backfield on for the kick? When is it not in? When to run? Because a couple of times we did run it from deep, like we'll see in transition play. We do enormous success against All Blacks.
Yeah, and the All Blacks struggled under the high ball. I think, I mean,
actually
everyone,
passed
Will Jordan fullback. I don't think he played well. You know,
He didn't pass that area at all.
Yeah, he didn't pass that. I thought, you know, he didn't get the opportunities he has there. But the key thing against the Springboks is you're gonna get a lot of contestable kicks. Springboks were winning that high the aerial battle very easily. Yeah. What happens though, then you got to win the scraps and you got to get that ball into space. We'd get the ball, 1 or 2 passes and knock on. So we never got that rhythm where we could get that ball from the scraps and get it out
Get
wide.
momentum. And this is an example of it because, again, we're making fantastic meters, but then, you know, and I want, again, it's just sloppy. You know, it's like, you know, Jesse, relatively easy opportunity there, just dropping it. You know,
I love the fact what Kwacha did. I think it was Kwacha who picked it up. And the ruck, when we get it dynamic, and we'll see when we get into the 22, when we scored, see us try. That's the biggest marked improvement with us is how deep we can clean the ruck. But then our weakness on the weekend was our ruck or our reaction to the ruck, you know, allowing it to become a battle, not blasting straight over. And yes, we're playing more rugby. Yes, there's more passes, so it's harder to predict where the ball is, or where the ball's going to, or the ruck's going to be formed. Credit to the All Blacks, but it seemed like almost every single All Black had a steal on the weekend. Whether it was Quartus at 9, who was it, Tupou Vai, Barrett, Sam Kane, Artie Severe, Lomax, and that is a trend that we had against Ireland. We sorted out in the first test. We were exceptional in our breakdown, and this weekend, for some reason, we dropped off on our intensity. And for us now, because we're a little bit more loose, it's the first cleaner that sets the target. It can't become a hips battle or a shoulder battle. He's got to be blasted straight off the ball.
And Scott, we'll get into the breakdown. Sorry, Shami.
Let me sorry.
Be careful, he said. Thank you very much,
There we go.
guys.
Thank you very much. A much needed coffee today again in Cape Town with a cold. We will get into the breakdown because it's now also this expansive game. You sometimes run for the offload rather than for the clean. So it's getting that balance right. Before we get to that, because the set phases for us is critical. We mention it every single week. We said we wanted a good start. We've already now seen the errors that we made early on in the game, and then also towards the latter stage, that continuing. The other side was with the lineouts.
Yeah.
You know, before we get to the breakdown, and I've got some examples here because the first 3 lineouts basically went to waste.
First one is off the back of a penalty from scrum fuzz as well.
We just couldn't get anything from it. You know, way overthrow. You guys can talk me through that.
What's that? Is that a penalty there?
What? The actual tackle?
Yeah. What do you do there? You can't.
So like a few years ago, they changed the law that if someone jumps to the ball, you can still go through. But the problem is, if you're already committed, I get it.
Yeah.
But it's almost like Pollard jumped and then he got checked, you know. So like, it is a dangerous area, but I think it is quite hard. Like on this, the line-out call on this is perfect.
Yeah.
You know, the ball just floats out of Bongi's hand. It goes. The point of the ball is pointing upwards and to the right, which means it's going to float and go up. You know, it's not flat enough to get the run or here at the back.
The problem with that though is, I'm sorry, we're just talking about the tackle.
The tackle. You were on the tackle.
If let's say that was the try line, how do you stop a guy then?
No, you can't.
You can't.
I
remember it was a Carl Sinclair with the Lions.
Yeah.
When he got the ball off 9 and he jumped. Tackle, and then I think that was a series drawn or something.
Yeah, they gave a yellow card for
they gave a yellow card for that.
So.
Yeah, what do you do there?
I don't think it's a penalty.
No, it's not a penalty because he jumped into the air.
Yeah.
I think as the tackler, you know, you've got a small, if you see someone jump, like instead of running his legs out underneath
Yeah.
him, I think you've got a chance to sort of catch him or whatever.
Catch him,
but if
yeah.
that happens on the try line, they're going to penalise the ball carrier for hurdling over someone.
Yeah.
You know, for jumping
Yeah.
in the air.
So if anything, I mean, massive commitment from Andre.
Andre, yeah.
But you need to ask the question: could he have done anything differently? And I don't think he could have.
Not
so
really.
can't really penalise him then.
Oh, gosh. Come, close the door, close the door. Come,
Hey! It's me, your car.
Wait, what?
Guys, you know I love you. Half of you were made on my back seat. Scrolls for me as well. We've been on holiday together. Chrissy, your first kiss was in my boot.
What?
Sorry, I didn't know that was a secret. But there's 9 of you now. Small one. I've stopped learning the names. You're slamming my doors like a teenager. Jaden, milkshake. 2 hands. Number 5, elbows.
Daddy.
Every morning I get stuffed like a Christmas chicken. Guys, sell me to We Buy Cars. Get yourself a nice combi. Let me start over with a new family. No, don't cry. Here come the wipers.
Time for a change? It's as simple as We Buy Cars, the easiest way to sell your car by far.
Okay, back to the lineouts. So first one,
The first one
That was a 3-man, eh, Schalk?
yeah, that's the very first one. That's off the back of our first scrum penalty. Set play, it will be so frustrating as an attacking coach, but Bongi floats it over the back.
this one, good read, just a good read by Vi.
Yeah,
Didn't move.
like we do a lot more dummies, I think, than we used to in the past, especially in the first half. And we saw it last week. That actually worked for us. That one where we sort of go back and then turn back on ourselves. But Tupo Vi just took a step back, took a leaf out of Eben Etzebeth's book. He does that one where he plays around. And the more dummies they are, you know, the easier it is to read that thing.
Yeah.
But also, I think with us,
Especially, sorry, Scarlett, with a mobile lock like that as well,
yeah.
a big mover. and same with
I
Eben.
think our biggest issue is in New Zealand got it way better than us. They created like artificial tempo. And by that, I mean, it can be slow. It can be a long discussion where the penalty is. The kick goes out, you get your call, you walk to it, but then you're sort of in and out of it. You create artificial tempo by 1-2 step up. Every single line out of ours
Static.
was static. And even if the call was made, the referee then forced them to open. So we were stood in the lineout.
Yeah.
And all you need as a lineout completer is to look what the setup is, and then you can make a gauged effort of where it was. The further issue we had is like, this is our ball, we win it.
Yeah.
But
Sloppy.
because there was so much pressure, our delivery was never on point. Even
play
the
with
one
it.
from the top was behind Grant. Then that affects the way we can come onto the ball.
Yeah, and also, Jean, we do a lot of 4-man lineouts.
Yeah.
That's where
Yeah.
4-man lineout, 2 props out, you got your jumpers in. Then that opens up the play. You got a loose forward as a carry, you got your 8, and then Peter Steff can chill on the blind side. So that gives us width, especially with the 60-40 racks or the midfield racks. So, you know, at a 4-man line, the thing is, the irony is that we've got 5 jumpers. So if you had to go, we've got the 2 locks, Peter Steff, and probably Sia can jump. New Zealand have got Sam Kane, Sevilla, and Wallace Satitu is not really a jumper. So with a fuller lineout, with
Sevilla's not the most natural lineout option, but they use him.
Yeah, they use them. So
But even if you then go, and again, you know, I never jumped in a lineout. Or did we at one stage? The centers in there as well. We did.
We had you and Jock Free in the
Yeah,
lineout at one
but
stage.
does it not make even more sense than if it's only a 4-man with the space that you have to work in, that you actually look at their formation, you walk and you find the space, go there immediately and just hook it in, rather than
Just speed it
standing
up a
there,
bit,
waiting, and now you start moving.
I think credit to
they contested well.
they contested well, but credit to Ronald Crew. We got a little bit better in the second half,
Yeah.
regarding a little bit of flow into the lineout, and our option taking was much more direct and sharp. We didn't have the big, you know, dummies. But then again, you know, like most teams now, you'll set up your first 3 attacking plays will be sets 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
And then you pair up a lineout or lineout options with whatever your strike play is going to be.
Yes.
So then you pair up a certain option because you want to obviously win the ball middle back or whatever you want to do. And that's always dangerous. You know, when we had the best lineout operator in Victor Matfield, he used to run past you and says back ball's on, and then we called the play off the back of it and we won the back
And
ball.
so quick, easy, simple, good execution from the hooker. It's just a nice shot, eh?
Yeah.
That's right.
I mean, how well did Cape Town present, but also
No, it
not
was
Cape
brilliant.
Town, this stadium.
Yeah.
It was incredible, the shots we got off it.
And that's just a good. It says 2 out of 3, but we couldn't. The 2 that we won, you couldn't play off at all. And we in 12 minutes into the game, I think it was 9 minutes into the game already. Now 4th line out, another one.
That breaks a
PJ
hook.
Cannon.
That breaks a hook of that.
That was poor support. Yeah.
Yeah, because the throw is spot on.
And then, okay, I'll just play it. Then actually the one we do get, you play a bit of a move from it and you
Reaction
lose the
to
ball.
clean.
Yeah.
Exactly
You
the
lose the
same
ball.
thing. Reaction to clean. So what was happening also, a lot of the breakdown still is open as long as the first guy makes a good leg tackle.
Yeah.
And I thought that's where the New Zealanders were quite good, because as soon as you chop legs, then that's that window of opportunity to get in there. But the reaction to clean is important from a side. Or even when you get tackled, like just roll the ball out, because you can feel like you can feel the heat on top of you. Roll the ball out and get it out.
I'll tell you why I think it was it will be a big focus point when we play Argentina, because that's how Argentina can hurt the Boks.
Yeah.
They can chop legs.
Leg chops and
You see, them beating Australia 67-27.
I was watching that game. Australia started well though.
They were 23
And then
up.
Argentina went into beast mode. And then it
and
just
like I didn't see the game. I just saw like
Where
the
were you,
score,
Scala? Why did you watch the game?
the score chart. I just followed the score chart.
Yeah.
And in from minute 70 to minute 80, they scored 4 tries, did they?
Yeah.
The last 5 minutes, they scored 4 tries.
They
or
scored
something.
9 tries in 50 minutes.
That's incredible.
The first 30 they
On,
didn't
yeah.
score
We're
tries.
going,
Okay,
we're going to,
the point
we're going to war in Argentina.
The point I was making is, like, if you're Tony Brown and you want to make the ruck more dynamic, or attack more dynamic, and for that the breakdown, the focus on our clean is to take bodies down with you.
Yep.
Open side cleaner's got to be aggressive, and you've got to actually turn the corner so that you compromise the fold, that you can't set 1 and 2, and then you give Grant Williams the chance to scoot out, like we'll see later, and pick up your big runners to come across it. None of that is present in any of the cleans we're going to watch, and all the penalties we conceded
I
in this
like
match.
that the two of you actually prepared. And talking about preparation, there's some fresh, prepared
I'll just
pride horse.
I'll just check if it's okay, boys.
Because we go into breakdown and the breakdown battle. Now, the first one we're going to look at, so taking into account our lineouts on functioning, okay, 22 minutes in, we've hardly won a lineout. We're 3-0 down. Jasper's off the field. It's 14 versus, well, they've got Severis off as well. We do not kick for goal. We decide to go for the lineout to hopefully get the try. Big call. Would you have made the same or not?
For me, it's early enough in the game. If you look at how we scored from Wolves last week, I understand this decision. We scored well. New Zealand have got, it's questionable their ball stopping strategy. They'll throw a lot of numbers in. So as soon as that we saw, that's how Malcolm scored his try. It opens up both sides. So
and also
I understand the decisions. It's early enough to do it.
The fact that we go for the maul, but we're so good in actually getting momentum off of that now if we don't get the return from the maul itself.
I think the lineout wasn't really a risk.
I thought that was a penalty. I thought that was penalty advantage.
I think the lineout wasn't really a risk because they were damaged so badly in the maul. I had the feeling that they're going to stay down in their 22, not really chase. You know, for me, the issue is, like, we've got obviously a loose forward down, you know, and we're playing against them who's got a back down. So maybe the points wasn't a bad option. Love the little show and go by Grant. But this, because you lose Grant, then we go a little bit more static, you know. We don't get quite the momentum that you normally would have. But, like, this is the biggest improvement in the Bok game plan, is our 22 attack from what we've seen, you know, in the first two weeks. Sam Cane gets in over, steal it. And you'll see this quite a bit. I think the recognition of the target and where the threat's coming in. Bongi and Nambi's going for the outside clean. We fall perfectly, Peter Steff, with his shoulders out so that the inside cleaner's got to do a harder job to get there. But the target he hits is wrong. You've got to take care of the inside cleaner first.
Is he holding his body weight up there?
I don't think so. There's a
it's the right leg, it's the outside leg.
There's a few where I think they picked up, like, he's obviously got a trigger for not rolling away. Grant Williams got pinned right in the beginning when Sia did a good steal where he was nowhere near, but he was in the peripheral of Matthew Carley. So to a couple of others. But, like, breakdown, like, we can go through this and we can argue every breakdown's a penalty. So, like, I would often, for me, I like if there's someone who's stealing a jackal, I like him to take the ball up and out instead of just clamping on and holding there and waiting for the penalty to be given.
Well, you do hear that from the refs a lot, where he's just saying you need to be lifty. You need to lift the ball, actually, rather than just clamping around the body. And I think this is actually a good example of that, where Ratama does fantastic to get over the ball. But, you know, you can argue that he's actually just holding onto the body rather than actually going for.
You need to see his right hand there. So I thought initially the same thing.
Because the angle we see here,
Yeah,
he's
the
just
angle we
clamped.
see, but if you look at his right hand, he's actually got his hand on the ball and he's going there. But for me, you can feel when you're isolated, when you're carrying the ball.
Yeah.
You know, it's the ball placement that creates that. So what you want to do is you want to buy time for the cleaners.
Yeah.
So you make a line break, you can feel, shucks, so rather fight on the ground, roll the ball out, because the supporters are coming anyway. He can pick it up or land on it or whatever. But then again, you know, you saw it down the blind side here, good leg tackle over the ball. But the ball carrier also has got a responsibility. It's either long placement, so you remember the recoil.
Or
Get
tackle
the ball,
fight.
Or tackle fight, recoil it further back.
Yeah, I was
Get the ball
about
back.
to say, so many of these you'll see us just land
Yeah.
at the feet of them and not actually fighting for the space backwards. So like when you fall in that position, you can always fight backwards.
Yeah.
And because, you know, if you want to steal the ball, you've got one chance. You can't change your bunt. You can also move the ball.
Yeah.
If you feel someone's on top of you, if you place the ball a bit to the right, he's actually got to put his hand down, not supporting his own body weight, and you get away with it.
And it's that counter movement, Scala, because firstly, I mean, we get dominance at scrum time.
Yeah.
Nice break. You get some meters made, but then you lose the ball. And it's that counter movement of actually the momentum going forward and the tackle fight and being able to go forward, but then the tackle fight of getting out of it and getting back on the ground and moving there is also critically important.
Yeah, it's almost that like man on fire principle. You can't never just lie there. You're on fire. You've got to move around. But also the way we want to play, whoever's first, whether you're Grant Williams or whether you're Kane Moody, you got to hit that. Yeah, the number on your back's irrelevant the way we want to play.
Apparently, you were a man on fire after the game last night as well. Let's continue through for the breakdown battle. And again, like you said, you mentioned earlier, Shami, basically every New Zealander was the willingness to get onto the ball. And South Africa, not far different, but just not getting it right every single time. This one, another penalty. Point to be made for Ox being taken out and then just late on the clean.
Yeah, again, for me, this is another one where if you go back, you look at the tackle. Look, there is a point to be made around that.
Yeah.
But the breakdown is because look how, so it's the tackle here that creates it. So Ox obviously taken out there, but look at this tackle here. Ox would have been the cleaner.
Yeah.
Ox would definitely have been the cleaner, but leg tackle, window of opportunity. Now Bongi needs to almost roll back to where Lomax is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Fight that ball back there, then it makes the clean easy for Ox. Look where Ox is there. So Ox is late because he got taken out there. So there's definitely an argument
There's
for
quite a few things. So Ox gets unlucky. He gets taken out with a ball, which, you know, you review it, there you go, it's a penalty, and you got obstructed in the cleaning line, which you can't do. Hence, you've got to roll away. You've got to roll out of that space so that 9 can get to it. But also, if you Grant Williams and you see you short, you've got to shout double up from the inside. And then other, Ruan Arke, Jasper Wiese, who's on their feet, has got to double up. You've got to work for the inside clean off the back of that first ruck.
Is there any value in, because we're running those hard lines in, you know, you kind of, if Bongi could get into a position where he could get on the outside, you know, actually present
Outside
this way.
placement.
Yeah.
in an ideal world, but I think the tackle was so good.
Yeah, his momentum got stopped that he fell that way. But like, if he could, he would have gone the other way.
I thought he was actually through the hole there.
Yeah, it was a good line.
Yeah, it was a great line.
So here again, here's us now with the opportunity. We were under the pump here. Jasper, good turnover. No, not. That's not the one I was referring to.
Go back to that Satiti carry. That's exactly what you're talking about now, the outside placement, the cleaner over. So look at this carry here. Just the one before.
This one?
No, the one before that.
He was exceptional. And you'll see Cody Taylor. Cody Taylor was real good again.
Forward a bit, yeah.
Okay.
Did it play?
Yeah, it'll play through, yeah.
Cody Taylor had a good game.
Cody Taylor had a good game last week as well, and this week.
I couldn't believe when they subbed Satiti. I thought he was outstanding.
That clean Kane over the ball, perfect. Look how clean it is for the scrum off. That was not that was for Nokia, not Rugby.
Nokia, yeah.
And that's
why
what
he was quite strict though.
That's what I'm saying. He's got a certain trigger. And in that case, he picks up Nokia with his peripheral. He did the same with Grant Williams in the beginning where I thought Sia did a steal.
Happy with that one?
Yeah.
Same thing here, attacking the outside channels. We could have gone wider there. Damien had such a strong game. Cleaners just too late on it. And I suppose when you go out of structure as such, you know, your attacking structure with there, Damien stepping a little bit, whatever, then it's your cleaners get confused in a way. You don't get there that quickly.
That's the one that will make me furious as a coach. He's 15 meters over the gain line.
Yeah.
You got in behind him. All you need is two blokes to clean it. The ball's so fast, you stay on top of them. You probably just go flat 100 on the open side and you run another 15 meters. Ruin a oxen chair. You know Damien can't pass there. He's got three bodies in around him. Go get on the back of him. Before he hits the deck, you should be having him on your back. And then you've got the option to take or blast someone out or just to do the quick little duck over the top.
And it's that decision-making, so Shams, the decision-making of going attacking route, but not running for offloads and running and passing all the time, but actually running for the clean as well when it becomes loose like that. You need to be able to make the decision.
Even before the guy goes to ground, if you can see he's in a tackle fight, you work with him through contact. So it's 4 feet against 2, you know what I mean? So what we're doing sometimes is, because we've got such good ball carriers, we're waiting for the guy to do the work and almost get that pop, whatever. So we're just reading it wrong, but that will come with time also when the game opens up. So the guys just need to react. Our reaction to the breakdown was just pretty slow.
And this one, and again, it felt to me, you go back to the Ireland series and how effective the Irish were from the restarts, the goal line kick out and the 22. This is a set play, okay? And we're just so slow to react. So one carrier, Elrich, one carry, and just late again.
It's exactly it. Look, we take nothing away from New Zealand's approach. You know, they won the shoulder battle every time. Same with Scott Barrett there, Tupovai. Guys, not traditionally that you will think, okay, they should be stealing. Well, that's the second rows.
Yeah.
But because the space is there, he's going to get in there. And to our point, we've got to be way more aggressive, way earlier. The battle can't happen. Before the battle happens, you've got to chop. And where you chop him is on the arms.
On the arms, yeah.
On the arms, get him off there. That's his trigger again.
Just not rolling away.
So he got Steenekamp, and he's not really part of it. He's rolled
Yeah.
to the far side, where you want to roll. You can't roll back in.
So it's not
He was strict on the tackler running away. He was very strict on that.
because Malcolm was. I spoke to him after. He was quite frustrated as well with the ruck situation and just being able to have a go there. But it's not necessarily him in that case. It's the tackler. The tackler not rolling away. That's his first trigger. After
So
that,
all teams now, you train it. And if I'm in on the ball, but I can see, the tackler's been trapped, I actually have to bail out of it. Otherwise, you concede a penalty because that's the trigger. In that case, Malcolm can probably see, is it Gerard Steenekamp rolling across to the right? You think you've got rights in on it. And then obviously he picked up. That's one of his triggers. And I think if you have the game again, if you're the Boks, you make sure that your tackler rolls away earlier, faster. And also for your stealer to recognize as Matthew Carley, he's probably going to pin him.
Scarlett, it's with the break. Obviously, you as a flanker from set piece, that first ruck is yours.
Yeah.
It's when we went into chaos that's we struggled. So from a 4-man lineup, we know the 2 props are generally the first 2 cleaners, then the other guys work around there. I think what happened is as soon as we went into chaos, we just lost that structure a bit in terms of the ability, because it's easy from set piece with the mapping. Okay, that ruck's mine. It's your responsibility. He's the carrier.
I would agree, but even like we got turned over from kickoff once down the blind with Vincent Koch. We got turned over from a 22 receipt with Ulrich Lowe. So I think as a whole the reaction was poor, and also we want to run into shape. And how our training works. We all run into shape. The breakdown's taken care of, and I get into my night, my pot of 9. The 4 of us get into width, and you actually start running away from the ball. Where in this game, where we got schooled at the breakdown, first point of call is how do we clean that breakdown? And for me, the number on your back is irrelevant. It's the first one player.
First one in.
But that's what I'm saying. The decision making becomes important where you want width on your game, but you can't immediately run into position for the width. You need to secure the ball first, and that's where we were just a little bit slow today. Those were the negatives. We win the game 18-12 against New Zealand. Okay, second week in a row, beating them. It doesn't happen a lot. Those are all the negatives that we kind of showcase now. The strategy around the game for me was an interesting one. To see to see how it changes the deeper you go into the game, to look at the decisions that we make at times versus what decisions New Zealand make at times, and also how players react in the pressure situations. It's the 4th week in a row now, and still New Zealand have not scored a single point in the 4th quarter of a game.
There's a whole lot of issues there.
They created opportunities to do it. Like,
They did.
yeah, I mean,
But they didn't.
yeah, they did not. We also, you can't, rely on your goal kicker missing a pretty simple.
But does it
run
become a
front.
psychological thing?
It does.
I think it does. Yeah.
It does. It's weird. The difference between is the Springboks know how to win. No matter what happens, we can adapt. It's just a Springbok team. No matter what the situation is, I got the feel, even at halftime, the New Zealand are playing well. They've got us under the pump. But I thought we were going to win this game.
Yeah.
I get the feeling, because, you look at Kwaka coming on, Malcolm coming on, you look at the bench. Those guys are so used to being in that position as a bench that they know their role, there's role clarity. New Zealand selected a team to counter us.
Yeah.
I'm going to play these clips because these are the positives for me. Starting the game, after that, turnover from the ruck, this defensive set, it just set the tone for the game. Again, like last week, a pretty decent attack from the All Blacks, but our intensity and the ferociousness of the defense from the Boks.
What took away from us the fact that our lineout malfunctioned, so we had to go through quite a few defensive sets. But like the start, the first scrum, the first point of contact, the Boks were absolutely up for it.
Yeah.
That's the start of the game, but I thought he had a brilliant game.
World class. But what happens also, Scala, the New Zealanders managed to get around our rush though, but our scramble defense, because we don't mind, we'll get a guy in the corner in the 5 meter, then you got all the players set up to counter. So as much as sometimes we're a little bit narrow, and they get, but you saw, I think Sevu Reece got a break once towards the right-hand side, towards the touch. There must have been 5 Springbok guys chasing him.
Sasha got him eventually. I think. Like for me, like our defense, I think there is a bit of a transition happening, because we used to be just go up and fly up.
It's a bit slow now, am I right? Yeah.
I think we've got 2 calls. And like I think when you saw Lucanio come on, he's still in the old system where he wants to go. Kanan had a poor start to the game where he
got a couple of reads wrong.
Couple of reads completely wrong. And it's almost like he was too wide, too late, and then he dipped in to try and cover himself off, and then he actually just ran in between the passing lane. He did it 3 times for us. So I think we've got work to do on it. I love the fact that the evolution of our defense is that we actually can use the touchline to get there and then number up. And then, like you said, Shami, you get them in the 5 and we can go again. But like there was times we were under pressure, but then it comes down to the stuff people doesn't see, and that's our work rate. Five players coming across.
It's just non-stop.
It's that long pass, John. As soon as Mackenzie would see, so Sevu Reece is out wide, he throws that long pass, and all of a sudden it's like the trigger for all the Springboks. Then you go, scramble defense, get in there, win that. Oh, they win that ruck. You got players set up, then you can go up again. So I thought our scramble defense was really good against the team. The New Zealand skill, especially when they're fresh and ready to go, the skill and the execution is bloody good.
Yeah. I mean, how many games have you watched the All Blacks play ever in your life? And how many games have you seen the All Blacks not score a try in 80 minutes?
They were the
of
master.
rugby?
Yeah, exactly.
They are the best in the world at doing that, and we didn't give them a try this time around. We spoke about it last week, and I mentioned as well, the one thing you don't want as a captain is your kicker to say, give me the ball, I want that kick, or rather to have a go at a kick, and then he misses it by 15, 20 meters, okay?
Marshall said that. He said, this is
it's not in his range. So
even Justin was saying, he was like, this is at the end of his range.
But now, Shimmy, the importance of this one, because 42, it's 3 minutes into the second half, okay? You decide to go for goal. Yes, but if you slot it, you make it 3 points, perfect, okay? But you need to know what your range is.
Yeah.
The effect of this, and I'm going to play it through because it's a long clip. He misses it by...
Why didn't Barrett kick that?
He didn't take
that's
it.
10 meters short.
Guys, this for me was the turning point in the game.
Yeah.
Because off the back of this, we actually get our first attacking set at them where it's a bit loose, we get an unbelievable turnover, and watch this is our longest phase of attack, and this is the first time after this we get a penalty eventually, where I saw some hands go on knees from the All Blacks, and I thought, okay, this is giving us the ascendancy in this match.
And that's what I want to get to, because we're just going to play this through, Shimmy, because the end result of this is us getting a penalty.
Yeah.
And kicking at goal and getting 3 points.
We get lucky here too. I mean, that's so loose.
It's sloppy at times as well. It's very sloppy at times. Ball goes to ground. That could so easily have been knock-ons as well. And you ride your luck.
Ox carried well on the weekend, didn't he?
He had a solid game as well.
He's come alive in this series. This season has come. He always was a good loose player, but he's come more alive now in terms of his general loose play.
Again, just taking them on one-on-one, moving them into the wider channels, the backline player being alive all the time out the back. I mean,
What a line. Good ball.
That was marginal for a forward pass.
This is the biggest difference in our game, is the amount of passes we can string together.
Yeah.
2 rucks.
But also,
and then also our breakdown, the willingness to go pick and go and stay on top of them. And I guess that term is the term that's the biggest difference, is how we can stay on top of the gain line while still, having passes, short passes between guys. Here we go again. Stay on top of the ball. Don't let them recover.
Not running away.
The big thing is, Jean, also our forwards are passing a lot.
Yep.
Look at this from Eben. How good is that?
Shot.
Straight into the hole.
And it's the ankle tap that got him. Yeah, jeez, I could see Villiers afterwards just going like, he got an ankle tap, because I think like if he had it over, he could probably give a better pass or even pick up Peter Steff on his shoulder.
I think he was going for the long pass on the outside to Cheslin, I think it was. But it was just the ankle tap that prohibited him from doing that. Check. Beautiful line. Great work from Eben, the offload. Yeah. Could have gone short to Peter Steff or to Cheslin out wide, but just the ankle tap.
But that's an 80-meter turnaround, from receiving a missed kick that, by all accounts, was 15 meters short.
It's not just the 80.
Look at this.
It's not just the 80-meter turnaround. It's potential 12-3 to go to 9-6. Yeah. So it's a 6-point turnaround as well, and all due to, I think, bad decision making.
Yeah, look, I also look. We'll talk about it later, but also the New Zealand substitutions for me didn't make sense. But we'll discuss that there. But there we go. Old school. The old school. Throwing the ball in. Even there, like New Zealand, once you saw, I'm sure they were shocked. But once you see Cheslin about to throw in the ball, there's only one place. He's either going front or middle. The New Zealanders, they sort of stuck to their structure. And Malcolm's there to give you more punch.
Also, I think. There might be a place somewhere where if we can have a little share around the front, Chesney will try and create a one-on-one with him. But what I love the fact in this is that our wingers follow through. But it's about our ball carrying. Malcolm marks, Ox, Damien de Allender, Rico Hanyani comes across. I think he catches Eben. He wants to go to Eben, and I think, on the reverse angle, you could just see him over track and see how he holds his feet and gets a one-on-one and goes over. But that's incredible attack by the Boks.
Yeah, but if you go back, Jean, you can also see a couple of things like the deep clean that carry France. France Malherbe over the ball to save that breakdown. There's a little things that the guys do off the ball. So here, if you look who comes in here. France Malherbe, bang. Wins that ruck there.
He moves around.
Yeah, exactly. He moves around. There's certain things. I mean, obviously, look at Sia there, but there was a deep clean just before that, and that's what creates the opportunity. Because as soon as you make a little bit of momentum, then you want to generate quick ball to beat the fold. That opens up the hole then. Instead of running, he's running through a doorway there instead of running into a face.
And Rico comes around. It's quite hard to stay honest there, but, his first instinct's 2 steps to the outside, which creates a dog leg for Sia to dive through.
Sia's ball carrying capability is really underrated.
His timing is good. The thing is,
proper.
He's a balanced runner. Sia. He's a very balanced runner, and he's good in the wide channels, but in close contact, he's got situational awareness. So he'll know. He can read the body language. If a guy's upright, he'll run towards him. Shoulders are dip, he'll go there. If the guy's a little bit high, he'll dip his shoulders and get underneath him.
Okay, this one. Another opportunity to go into the lead, but now you're in that situation where it's 20 minutes left.
Yeah.
It's within the last quarter of the game. You haven't scored in the Rugby Championship this year in the last quarter. Can we get points on the board? He misses, but massive, massive pressure for the Boks.
Before this, like I was telling John, listen here, get on a pole. We need someone on the pole. And like Eben's there, he gets unlucky. But we always used to have one on either side. We had a guy in front of it and a guy behind. So like Eben gets unlucky because the ball actually hits the end of the ball and bounces straight down. But this is where, I mean, it's a coach killer. If you don't have that, the ball hits the upright, then they go score.
And it was edgy here because, you know, they get the eventual 7, 5 points, potentially 7. Totally different game. But again, our willingness to work so hard to make the tackles, to get back up from the ground, and discipline eventually, and then a bit of luck, you know, gets us out of it. But I mean, they already, you've tackled them 20 meters back. It reminds me of 2019, the World Cup final against England. You know,
This was an important set.
Yeah,
I think that was probably the set that got the game for us.
Yeah.
I was always wondering, like, why Bowden Barrett came on so late. Leonard Brown came on before him, Perenara. Because when he comes on and he steps up as a second receiver, I think he takes a lot of pressure off Damian McKenzie. And you saw it in the way they attacked, that nice fluidity when he came on.
But check now, from the captain, boom. Yeah, again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And look where this ends up, like a proper transition again.
And our super sub, Quagga. Yeah, but
That's the new urban run.
stop and go.
Stop, yeah. And then stop and go. Then
He'll probably call it a step, eh?
And this is why I think you don't want to
space
take
out wide they achieve.
as much mistakes we made in that first half. When something triggers you to say, listen here, we can exit by keeping the ball in our hands. We got to do this. And this is a phase where I think Damien de Islander turned into number 9 for about 3 phases.
But also, Scala, how comfortable we are with the chaos these days.
Yeah.
You know, in getting into a shape, even though it looks a little bit chaotic, but every single guy's in motion. He can pass, he can tuck, he can offload. You know, the timing is better in terms of the reaction to the clean. You know, then we are an extremely dangerous.
Get a little bit lucky with the penalty at the end of it. But like, you know, from defending a ball 5 meters from our try line to getting a penalty on the halfway, it's the best form of exit.
Yeah,
you know, a few years ago, we'd have just been hacking it downfield, or first instinct will be to put it on the beat. Even though you've got a 4-on-2 or 4-on-3 and you're doing that transition play, that's exceptional by the Boks.
We speak about the margins at test match level so much, and I'm going to keep playing this. Because remember, it originated from a kick at goal from Damian McKenzie.
Yeah.
Hit the upright, we under massive pressure. This is
Still on the line.
result, okay? A penalty for us to kick at goal on the halfway line. And 100% in range for Sasha. Okay, it was a terrible kick at the end. Okay, but those are the margins. And that's why I just feel, you know, you probably go back a couple of years in terms of the All Blacks. These were the situations where they were able to just knock it in a little bit further, get the lead, etc., etc. Whereas now there's, you know, the ruthlessness of this team is just not there yet.
Yeah, but it's 2 weeks in a row though. Also,
Yeah.
You look at the substitutions that you mentioned. Anton Brown. I thought Satiti was probably one of the best loose forwards.
Yeah.
Keep him on. You know, some of the subs also for me just didn't make sense from a New Zealand point of view. Lomax gets subbed at 72 minutes.
After his yellow card.
After a scrum penalty, he should have been taken off earlier. Fletcher Newell, you don't get front. I mean, these guys get tired, and you play him so long, so deep. Fletcher Newell, put him on the field. The Springbok team has already made the substitutions. Where the Springboks get you is with their front row. They start generating scrum penalties. Put Fletcher Newell on a lot earlier and makes a difference. They keep him on longer, concedes a penalty, yellow card, and that basically takes the game away.
Well, now exactly that, Shimmy. We show those 2 opportunities where they had the opportunity to get into the lead with kicks, which they didn't make, okay? Now we're in the 69th minute. We 1 down, okay? Villiers been yellow carded. I think a tough yellow card, firstly, for Villiers. But yellow card. Yeah. No.
How many of those did you knock down?
None, ever.
You just took it and scored.
Yeah.
The yellow card, okay, so we 1 down. But now the fact that they do not replace, and we hardly ever see teams these days at international level going 70 minutes, the props. You know, you've got the ability to bring fresh legs on. 10 minutes left in the game, we get a scrum. We're under pressure in our half, we get a scrum. Our ability to exit with a dominant scrum to get a penalty makes it so much easier for us. And that is down to the decision-making from the opposition as well, right? Do you want to talk us through the scrum?
Yeah, look, it's just he's overextending there. But again, you know, look at the long set, the South Africans trying to scrum there. And it's a guy that is facing, and you face Oxen Chair for what, 60 minutes? That's hard enough in itself.
Yes.
They bring on a fresh loose head, Steenekamp, who's a good scrummer.
Yeah.
Make the substitution.
Yeah.
Tell the other guy, listen here, this guy's going to play so much time, and then no matter what the situation is, you're going to come in, and your job is just to stabilize the scrum and make sure you force the Springboks to play. That's all. Look, Fletcher Newell is a good running prop. All you have to tell him, listen, just hold the scrum up for us, and that's all. Your job's done. And it's 2 or 3 scrums you'd have to face there. I just thought that they got that substitution completely wrong.
Because fatigue.
And also, Asafa Amour, I think, he came on early on. Make the front row substitution. Swap the hooker around. Amour is a big guy. He's a good ball carrier, aggressive tackler, and also Fletcher Newell has got high work rate.
Do you feel that, I mean, and you've basically said it, that they could have utilized their bench
A lot better, yeah.
far better, and also questioning who they replaced?
Yeah.
You know, against Scholar, when I saw Rika Ioane coming off for the yellow card, you know, replacing him rather than one of the loose forwards or anyone else, that was big. Luke Jacobson replacing Satiti, who had such a solid game.
Like Satiti offered so much on attack, and it was not only how direct he was in his ball carrying, like it's also his soft skills. You know, he's only a young loose forward, but like often when he wasn't trucking it up,
It's just the pass behind the back.
he dragged it back, and he's got an awesome skill set. So like I think that the 2 youngsters, Ratama and Satiti, could be very proud of their performances. Both of them played nicely.
I thought maybe Sam Kane should be in the guy taken off.
Yeah.
Then you got Satiti, Luke Jacobson, and then you can either move Sevilla to 8 to open side flanker. Jacobson can play 8 and Satiti stays there. So then it's more. You got ball carriers, you got skill, and you got Sevilla who can run all day.
The forwards that came on from Kwacha and Elrich, Elrich brings a lot.
Yeah.
Kwacha, we know, is the best super sub in world rugby now. And then you look at obviously Jacobson and Derry, and I don't think they had the same firepower that we've had. And the fact that we used ours earlier meant the impact they made was bigger. And over the course of these 2 games, if you ask about the bomb squad last week and this week, and what effect the bench of New Zealand had, I think that's probably the difference in the 2 test matches.
Bench is definitely making a difference. Also, big moments in the game, and our players being able to step up in the big moments, and the big players to step up. The depth that we have, and new guys coming in, also coming in without missing a beat.
Yeah.
Jaden Hendricks haven't played for a long time, well, certainly Test match rugby, obviously played a bit of Currie Cup. And this one, he would have been out of the mix. He hears it late, but just they're in sync. They're in sync, knowing what they want to do. Cheslin giving the ball.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to play it on because they show the replay. Because we're still 14 on the field, okay?
Yeah.
Try scoring ability, or opportunity rather. But now, again, maybe this is fatigue as well for a front row to be able to do this. But this is something that is just an absolute coach killer. The yellow card conceded and basically the game lost.
Yeah, it goes
And
with it.
We'll see the replay there because, he hardly touches him, okay? Yeah. Jez is pretty good with this these days.
You've been watching football. You've been watching soccer.
But check, it's not a massive hit, but it's just unnecessary. It's unnecessary.
All you have to do is just turn around and chase the ball because he sees it going over. But, it is unnecessary.
Like Chessie called it so early, and he was coming from deep. He actually had to stop his run because Jaden didn't quite hear it. Look, Chessie wouldn't have scored, but he can't do it. You can stand still. You can turn around, run with him, make it hard for him to get past you. And then after this, I went back on my messages. So many guys were going, go for goal, go for goal. And I was like, that's not where we're going. We got to go for touch. One is because they've lost a man down. We've been so effective in the 22. Secondly, we've all seen in this series how hard field possession is to come by off kickoffs. We've hardly been able to handle a kickoff and transfer the pressure.
This is one picture I don't like, okay? And I'm going to tell you why. Because this guy, having a go at the referee, to me, he's not part of that conversation. He's got no place to be there. What?
That's the coach from the top talking to him.
No, I don't care.
Saying, go to the ref, yeah.
That guy's wearing an all-black kit now, but to change the kit, whatever, we don't want that.
Yeah.
You want the captain to be
okay, that's the SNC
guy. Yellow card, and you had to feel that, we...
Yeah, we got into the same as the game last weekend when at Ellis Park when Ofa Tuangafasi went off. It was almost a similar situation.
These two games are so similar in the way how the Boks clawed their way back into it.
Yeah.
And it was big moments in around the 60th minute. And then you just feel the Boks, we just started edging small little battles, scrum battles, decision-making battles, bit of luck for sure. But also when we got into the 22, we were so much more effective than they were in the 22 attack.
4.5 minutes left on the clock. Okay, we now find ourselves in our own half. You could so easily just go back to being really conservative, maybe setting up one ruck and then kicking a box kick from there or whatever in terms of your exit. We don't see that.
Have a go, son.
We have a go. Fantastic break from Sasha. I almost wanted to say, use the right.
But even last week, how many of those did you see where that ball just didn't hop up for our guys? And
what I really like, it's a middle scrum, so they split. The pass and the grubber still on for Lukanyo once their winger cleans up. And you want to hit it deep. You want to get it into 22. When we were younger playing rugby, John, we always used to pick on scrum offs. And attack. You don't see it really that often anymore. The fact that he stood up, TJ Perenara skims him on the outside. We get the perfect result. It looks differently, but like in our previous part of our evolution, we would have just kicked that straight down.
And also,
you never get that result. You get into that tennis or give the ball back to them.
Yeah. Also remember that Rico Ioane, who moved to the left wing, he was off the field. So you are attacking against one less defender. And I think the way we were able to exploit that was just fantastic. That is a youngster. That is a guy playing his first season of Test match rugby, making that decision, executing it beautifully. A couple of minutes later, 2.5 minutes left in the game. This is the decision from the All Blacks to exit. So look at, firstly, the decision, secondly, the execution, and thirdly, the way the South Africans react, especially a Cheslin Colby and a Lukanyo and how we are able to execute it. Terrible kick. Total commitment from Cheslin, getting the offload to Lukanyo. Maybe a little bit of luck there.
The bounce pass or whatever it was.
And the only thing I could question was that they just took, and we're not playing it through, they just took too long to actually get someone in position for the drop kick. It was set up. So maybe one thing for Sasha, maybe get there, get the drop kick.
So the two in the pocket was actually Cheslin and Villiers. And I think they played the wrong one. Cheslin wasn't quite expecting it.
And it was on Villiers' left foot.
And it was on Villiers' left foot, so I think they could have picked up Villiers. But also, we saw last week, 78th minute, I think it was Bowden Barrett kicked the ball into touch, which ultimately made us get the ball back 3 phases later, kick it out. 76 or 77 minutes, they revert to a contestable in their own 22. I'm always saying, that's un-All Black-like. You would expect them to hold on to that ball, back themselves to go through 40 phases, 30 phases, whatever it takes to go win a test match. And it's small little margins like that that's costing them at the moment. There's a tightly contested test series, boys, but we won the big moments.
You get the feeling this All Black team, there's, obviously Mwanga make a big difference, Frizzell, but they've lost a lot of experience in that team, and that's what they're lacking at the moment. Tupuva has grown as a player. Satiti looks like he'll be a big player.
Real good player.
For the All Blacks. Ratima, we don't know a lot about. He's coming to the mix. The backs are sort of established. But in the pack, I think that they lose that. You see it on the 22 meter, that ability to break through, to dent a defensive line. And that's where the tries will come. So they're relying a lot on the backs to get them out wide pretty early. And then the defense sorts that out. But in terms of a pack that can crash through, that's where the Springboks are good. You get in that 20, it's Oxenche, then it's Malcolm Oxobongi, then it's Peter Steff, and then it's another big ball carrier. Dent, try. Whereas the All Blacks are probably lacking that hard edge at the moment.
And I think we've really stepped up that part of our game quickly. If that was our weakness against the Irish, is like we were so good outside of the 22. Once we got into the 22, we were actually quite bad, terrible. After that, re-looked at our system. The maul came back, the chaos ruck and the pick and goes, and Grant Williams turning the shoulder around the corner came into our play, and that allowed our big ball carriers to dent the line. And we've been so effective in these two test matches in that 22.
Guys, I mentioned it last week. I'm going to mention it again. I was so glad that Sasha missed that conversion kick because I got it right again. Yes, people out there.
I've got
I
to
said Boks by
I've got to
6.
take Sasha out. Okay, I've got to take him out because both games, and Damien McKenzie for that matter, I went 18-15 on the weekend.
Yeah.
I got 18-12. Last weekend I was going by whatever it was. You got it spot on.
Our prediction.
You got 4. I got it by 7 or less.
25-15, 10 points. Yeah.
Yeah.
I said by 6. So, verdict, please, Shimmy. For this one, take the emotion out of it. Take the emotion of a Bok All Black test, everything that goes with it. Go purely on how we played, etc., etc. What would your verdict
I'd probably go 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
Happy we won the trophy. It's a satisfying win. But things like the breakdown, the line, it's all fixable stuff, which we will get there. So I'm happy. Look, I was thinking 8, but if you take the emotion and the trophy, the Freedom Cup and all that, you look at the pure performance, chances are we'll look at the breakdown and say we could have done better. Lineout, we probably could have done better. I thought started scrumming well. Error rate was pretty high. But, again, you put emotion to it. All Black test, the Freedom Cup, double test, do we back up? Then you go 8 then, you know what I mean? But if you look at performance, I'll probably say 7. But, Freedom Cup, we haven't won it for 15 years. Freedom.
I'll go for the same as last week, which was 7.5. But we're so privileged to see this Boks side play, and we think they've got so much more to offer, and we still beat the All Blacks in 2 tests in a row. So for me, I don't want to get ahead of myself. Biggest fan of this Boks side. I'm going to go 7.5 because I know there's so much more improvements to be had. But how privileged were we to watch the last 2 test matches, and thank you to the Boks.
Yeah. Remember, before the series started, we're not talking about Franco Mostert, the all-injured Lut de Jager, name, and Damien Willems, Steven Kitsoff. There's a lot of guys that are out the mix. And Ron Lokia, he's just grown into it. The amount of tackles he made, look at how Sasha came into the mix, Grant Williams getting a start, Gerard Steenekamp. There's a couple of guys that come into the mix. So it's a good position to be in for South African rugby. So it's looking positive. There is plenty of competition. I don't think you're going to have a bad performance in that Boks jersey at the moment because everyone is so replaceable. Look, there's constants there. Peter Steff is always there.
Yeah.
Frans Malherbe, we need to speak about France.
He was how good. France.
How good? Yeah, France.
I don't have enough time to speak about France.
We got to. The last show of the series, we're doing a Frans Malherbe tribute. We have to do one.
We can maybe get him on the show.
We'll get him on the show. Hey, he'll like them. We'll get some steaks for that show.
I did with the rap. I had a bit of a conversation with Franz there, and he had the Freedom Trophy, whatever. And he's like, before, and he said, "Is this in English?" And yeah. So we talked. So afterwards, he sends me a screenshot of one of his mates saying, check, neef, jou Engels het uit Engels uitgehardloop. So
look at the front row and the stuff they've done. So. Look, I'd like to say 8 purely because of the Freedom Cup, but just if you look at they'll watch it, they'll do the video session. Argentina will be tough now. After that performance, we're going to battle in Argentina.
Also,
that's going to be a proper game.
It's going to pitch up. Is it the one that's going to roll over, or it's the one that's beaten the All Blacks, or given the Wallabies 60?
But well done to the Boks. Fantastic. Bombela is the next one at home for us, and it's the last one for the year. But so far, world-class Springbok team. Absolutely great.
Well done to the Boks and well done to the two of you. Another very enjoyable episode of The Verdict. We'll be taking it easy just like the Boks for next week. We will be back after the first test match against Argentina with our review and our analysis and our verdict of the Boks performance. But for now, we certainly can't be any prouder of our Springbok team. Every single player that's been able to put that jumper on has made us so, so proud. The rivalry continues between South Africa and New Zealand, and it's one that we really do cherish. But for now, all we can say is thank you so much. Away Cape Town, away South Africa, and danko, Sio Kolisi and your whole squad. Till next time, cheers.